This video is sponsored by Skull Bliss. Welcome back to Smoky Ribs Barbecue. We're doing something a little bit different today, something a lot different. Take a look at this. This thing is huge. It's a whole cow head. This right here is a tongue. It's almost severed. There's a little piece of meat right in here that's hanging it. Derek, you want to go ahead and cut that off of there?
Yes, sir.
We're just going to cook it separately because it'll probably have to come off the smoker before this. So I put this SPG together, and what I've got is equal parts of kosher salt, black pepper, garlic powder. I've got a half part of lemon zest, dried dehydrated lemon zest, and about the same amount of parsley flakes that's been run through a grinder for like little miniature flakes. And let me tell you, it smells incredible. It's gonna have that little citrus pop, that little citrus end on it. It's a really good first layer for doing this. And don't be shy with it. This thing is a big piece of meat here.
This little SPG smells killer.
All right, he's got the SPG all over the head, all over the tongue. Now I'm going on with this Texas Best brisket rub from Heaven Made Products. Really good brisket rub. I've used this in the past. So Derek, have at it. He loves doing this. Derek's gonna go ahead and finish getting this rub on here on the outside, inside the cavity, the tongue as well. The tongue's got that heavy, whatever it is, that skin on the outside that will peel off. So seasoning that will probably come later, even though we do have some on the outside of it.
Tell you what, that thing weighs about 50 pounds now.
You got something dangling there, brother.
That is no joke.
Oh, that's part of that cheek.
Yeah, cheek. You can tell it's a little butcher's cut mistake.
Right. Now all we need is that tongue on there.
Yes, sir, indeed.
Look at that. It's coming to the very top of this offset. That thing is almost 25 inches long. And I don't know how much it weighs, but it feels like around 50 pounds is what Derek's saying. There's the tongue. Close her up. We're smoking. All right, we'll be back here in probably about 2 hours and take a look at it. We're gonna keep the fire stoked and the smoker rolling. So who is Skull Bliss? Skull Bliss offers carved animal skulls, decor elements that you won't find anywhere else. They take pride in working with skilled artisans and imaginative designers to bring you skull art that becomes the centerpiece of any room. Skull Bliss started in Bali, and they proudly continue their relationships with Balinese artisans today. At Skull Bliss, no animals are harmed just for their skull. They turn these would-be waste products into detailed artworks, a process that pays respect to the life of the beautiful creature. All of their home decor wall art is hand carved, impressive premium finishing touch, unique, one of a kind, ethically sourced, authentic craftsmanship, high quality. I'll have a link in the description box to Skull Bliss. Please go there and check out their website, but let me pre-warn you, you're going to have a hard time deciding which one you like best. That's exactly what happened to me, and I finally settled on this one right here after careful thought and consideration. Now the wood flag that we have this mounted to, that was actually gifted to Derek for doing a benefit. He did a barbecue, big barbecue for a local benefit, and he would not accept payment since it was a benefit, so they gifted him with his flag, and we both agreed that this skull would look just fantastic mounted to it, and man, it surely does. That is a centerpiece now of our stage. Thank you, Skull Bliss. Been going 2 hours exactly, and I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. If you live in South Mississippi, South Alabama, around my area, you can find these at South Alabama Custom Meats off of Dawes Road. Now, I don't think they keep them all the time. They get them in, they sell out quick. So just a little bit of information for anybody watching that lives in my area. All right, so let's open it up after 2 hours. What I want to do is go ahead and pull this out a little bit. Woo, boy, that thing's heavy. Now, most people would spritz at this point, but I got some advice earlier. I posted a picture of this thing on Facebook, And Lene Oxley gave me a great tip. Lene Oxley is a barbecue pit masters champion. And when a barbecue pit master champion gives me advice, I'll listen. But she said take regular Italian dressing and use that to marinate it with as it's cooking. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna mop it on like a mop sauce. We got some oil in this, we got the vinegar, we got the seasonings, and I can definitely see where this is going to make an improvement. All right, so I'm just gonna do complete coverage on this. I might have to get another bottle of this dressing because this thing is huge. I still can't get over the size of this head. Unbelievable. We have been smoking around 7.5 hours, and so you know, I've been basting every hour on the hour with the zesty Italian dressing, the tip I got from Lene Oxley.
All right, well, I guess we're ready to get this head off of here and get it wrapped up, huh?
Yeah, let me open this thing up. Oh man, look at the gorgeous color on that.
Lord, that is
I hope
beautiful.
this old man can pick that thing up. The first thing I want to do is get this tongue off of here.
Ooh,
Look at
look
that.
at the color on that.
Man, so we'll set that off to the side. All right, I think we're still in good shape here. Here we go. Let's move this bad boy over here. Now I'm gonna wrap this like 6 or 7 times with this foil. And I had to actually buy, and I still didn't rip off enough here. This foil is 24 inches wide, just to give you some reference what's going on here. But I want it to stand up to where all the fluids in the bottom pool up and don't leak into the smoker, if you know what I'm saying. I want to preserve that to give it something to steam in. Look at that, man. That thing is huge. That's bigger than 2 Thanksgiving turkeys, man. I guarantee you that thing weighs 40 to 45 pounds easily. But it did shrink 3 inches in overall length. We got 24 inches diagonally, and that's what we got it in there. And let me tell you, it barely fits. I closed my bottom vent and my upper vent because now this is acting like an oven. We got almost 8 hours of smoke on it. So we're gonna go ahead and latch that one down. Latch the bottom one down. It's set for 225. Obviously it's cooled down, as you can see here, because I've had the door open. It'll come back up, plus the head is hot. That's gonna speed things. Lower vents closed, upper vents closed. Now it's acting like an oven. It'll cycle on and off more rapidly without those vents open, and just keep everything at the right temp. So we'll be back tomorrow and see how it turns out. This thing went for a total of 20 hours. That's a combination of 8 hours in the offset and the remaining time inside the PK100. And I do believe we're done here. What we done is we ripped the foil open to where we could get a probe in there and check for tenderness. And it was super tender. It was going through it like butter. So the only thing left to do is just pull this thing apart. And you can see how it's coming right apart. And I've got some juice here in the bottom, and all I'm gonna do is just shred this. And really all I'm shredding is going to be the cheek meat, and I've got the tongue right here to my left, and I'm going to remove that, I don't know what you call that, the skin on the tongue, and get the meat out of the inside. Mix them two together, and I ain't doing any brains. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I know I'm gonna have comments, oh, you didn't eat the best part, the eyes and the brain. I don't do brains and I don't do eyeballs, so I'm after the cheeks and I'm after the tongue. Yeah, I could have bought them individually, and I've done that in the past, but it's more of a novelty thing with me. Now, I am gonna go ahead and chop up the brains and the eyes for anybody feeling brave enough to try it. If not, we got some dogs that'll eat it, right? That's right. All right, they'll love these bones too. So anyway, let me dig around in here and get this going. Dude, try a piece of that cheek meat. All right, so I'm not gonna bore you doing all this. It's going to take getting everything off the skull itself to where I can actually get in there and shred all the meat. I'll show you what I end up with here in just a few minutes. So I'm just going to take some of this cheek meat here, mixed in with the tongue as well. That ought to be plenty. We got a whole bunch of these tortillas and a lot of this meat. By the way, there's still meat in the pan. I just got tired of picking it. We had to finish this video, so we're taking a little break from that. It's pretty good, a little bit of meat there, you know, for what we got. A lot of it is waste, of course, fat and skull, but I'll tell you one thing, you are not going to duplicate this flavor any other way. Cooking right there off the bone. Now this is a Salsa Kamada I made. Then we just got some Mexican hot sauce. A little bit, add a little bit more flavor to this. Man, I love me some tacos and I can tear them up. A little bit of raw onion. Now this Salsa Kamada is really, it has all the components of a pico de gallo. It's got everything in it that a pico de gallo has, including the tomatoes, but it's been pulverized. It's also been roasted, almost to the point of burning the skin, so it gives it a very unique flavor. So I'm just going to double this over, just like that. It looks more like a fajita now, but that's all right. You ready?
All right, you ready to give it a try?
I'm ready. Man, that's good.
You know, I love beef, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to get from the beef cheeks. I was expecting something probably more along the brisket, being this tender and all, but it's got a flavor profile, all of this on, that is very delicious.
It's different. It's probably one of the best tasting pieces of beef on a cow.
I have to agree there.
There ain't no doubt about it. Well, we are going to eat our fill, I promise you. And this is something we've been wanting to try for a while. I've done beef cheek, beef tongue, separate of each other, but putting them together to make taco meat is outstanding. And I'm fully convinced that cooking it whole on the skull really elevates the overall flavor. They're pretty good cooked without the skull, but this is jamming. I guarantee you this is jamming. And it's kind of a challenge trying to get that big head into something. I mean, think about it. It was almost as tall as what my offset is on the lower rack, but we pulled it off. Turned out fantastic. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I'm Russ Jones.
I'm Derek Jones.
We are Smoky Ribs Barbecue.